My question to you is food storage really necessary? And should we really store food? Well, I'm here to tell you the answer is yes. There are massive price increases coming, a decrease in the availability of food. So we're going to run over to the internet here and I'm going to show you some headlines of why you should start storing food. Again, the title of this video is food storage really necessary? Should I start storing food? And here's the current drought in the United States. And it's almost half of the U.S., looking right here, a good third of the U.S. So this is the drought monitor. Tells you up here everything about the drought. And then what happens with the drought, and I didn't know this, is that the grasshoppers come in. And the grasshoppers like the dry weather, I guess. So here they finish off North Dakota crops. And heat and drought aren't the only issues they're facing. Grasshoppers are destroying pasture grass and crops. In my 25 years of farming and ranching, I've never seen anything like this. They're eating it down to nothing. You can see my 300 acres of barley. All you see is they've eaten it to the ground, nothing left. So this farmer said usually they have 1,500 to 3,000 bales on a 1,000-acre field. This year they got only 53. Now that's a big difference. He had to cut his sheep from 150 to 38 because he doesn't have feed for the sheep, the cattle, or the goats. Someone in Montana mentions that the hoppers destroyed their barley crop. So it's one thing after another, and it's not just barley, it's going to be everything. So let's see what else I have here. Well, this is a good one, the organic prepper. Are we headed for a full-on famine? Fires, droughts, foreign entities, buying farms and food processing plants. Now, as you go down here, U.S. is losing farms by the thousands yearly. Drought is causing some farmers just to walk away and decide not to do it, not to farm anymore. California, of course, is a big problem here. It's the largest dairy producing state in the union, and it's a top producer of vegetables, berries, and nuts. And if they're just giving up and walking away, we're not going to have vegetables, berries, nuts, and some dairy. Livestock is also affected by the drought. Farmers in Utah, 75% less water than they had last year. North Dakota, many pastures are empty as drought left ranchers with no choice than to sell their herds to be slaughtered. Now, what this means is they're going to sell their herds. They're going to be slaughtered early. There's not going to be any meat when there normally is. And they're not going to have more cattle for next year. They're just saying, forget it. Or unless they can get the feed, they're not going to have it. And then the foreigners are buying our farmland. China is buying a lot of our farmland, and then it's shipped right over to China, not to the U.S. And also they're buying the big producers, the big, plants that process the foods. So they're buying those at a record rate also. Then the wildfires are also damaging crops. So the organic prepper says, secure your food supply now, and I agree. Get it now while you can. That's the organic prepper. Then as we go here, Farm Policy News, a drought that began last fall now encompasses 75% of Iowa, and it's stressing most farmers' corn and soybeans. Corn leaves are rolling up and soybean fields are yellowing. All signs of increasing drought stress. So we have problems with corn. Get ready to pay more for tomatoes as California growers reel from extreme weather. Tomato sauce is feeling the squeeze and ketchup can't catch up. Okay, So as we go through the drought here for tomatoes, Italy's tomato harvest threatened by a can shortage. They had to plow these tomatoes into the ground because they didn't have enough cans to make tomato sauce. Drought threatens North Dakota's wheat crop. So it's not just one or two crops, it's a lot of crops here. It's a perfect storm. A shipping container crisis has upended the global food trade. Large swaths of the U.S. are still dry as a bone. And here's the drought monitor again. And as they go through here, 86% of American sunflower production is in the drought area. 99% of spring wheat is now within the drought area. And this is barley area in droughts, alfalfa. So everything is being affected. Half of the nation's pigs, milk cows, and sheep live within drought-stricken areas. And as you go through here, you just see that it's going to be a perfect storm, everything coming together. Cattle are competing against grasshoppers for food in the West's historic drought, and the bugs are winning. Look at all those grasshoppers there. Cattle shortages. Truck driver shortages. So even if we could get the food, we can't get it to market because of the truck driver shortages. Shipping costs soaring. Oh, this one is terrible. Generator turns plastic trash into edible protein. Will you eat protein that's made from trash, from plastic? You won't know. They'll call it by some other name, and you really won't know that it was made from plastic. And the other thing is, Brazil has a freeze right now, so there's a big coffee shortage because of the freeze in Brazil. So these are just some of the problems that we're having and some of the reasons that, yes, you should start storing food because all of this is coming together. Wow, wasn't that something? All those different headlines. So, want to spend your money wisely. We've got shortages, droughts, grasshoppers. We've got freeze in Brazil. We've got problems in China that I didn't even mention before. So, preps may save your life. The food that you store now may be all you're going to get for a while because there's going to be no meat. There's going to be no cattle. And I didn't go through all the headlines, but chicken feed is hard to find. So if you've got your own chickens at home, you're not going to get chicken feed to feed them. So there's a lot of stress on the food supply with the shipping containers, the truck driver shortage. And when we combine it all, there are problems. So get what you can while you can. You know, you can order $50 worth of food online every month and get what you eat if you don't want to go to the store and check it out. So preparation is going to be the key to surviving this. And is it only going to last a year? I don't know. You have the food shortages now. If you don't raise your own food, you're going to have to wait until next year at this time before you can even harvest what you have. As you become more self-sufficient from knowing you can handle anything life throws your way, you don't know what's going to happen, so it's time to be prepared for everything and prepare for the worst. I didn't even mention the fuel shortages. Fuel shortages are going to be stopping food from getting to the market. They're turning off water to farmers in California, and I just heard there's some jet fuel shortages. I don't really want to scare you, but I'm telling you, yes, start storing food right now. And go back to my first or second video if you've never done this before, and see how to start for a 72 hours and then go to 3 weeks and then go to 3 months. And don't let all of this overwhelm you. Just start storing food now so that you can survive this crisis. Now, if you have any tips or ideas or anything we can use or what we should watch out for or the mistakes you made, be sure to let us know in the comments. And also, if you want us to cover any aspect of prepping, leave that in the comments too. But please subscribe.